Alright, so for this DIY, you can use the wood planks from Dollar Tree, and that's what I did. I've been trying to figure out an idea to use these for a while, so that's what I'm doing. These are from Amazon. These are molds that you can melt crayons in. You can do all kinds of things with them, but we use them for crayons. And this is an activity that me and my son like to do together. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, you're going to do the adult stuff, like using the oven and all of that, but what we do is we love to recycle crayons. We always have piles of them from different things at the end of the year from school, losing crayons and having half a box left. We always just try to scoop them all up and organize them and save them for projects, so they never go to waste. But yeah, some apple barrel paints, paintbrushes, a pencil if you need, Mod Podge, always Mod Podge. And yeah, this is shrink wrap plastic. It's not always easy to find, but just one package is enough. And we're mixing our stain. I mixed a couple different stains. This one's kind of a pinkish rose color. It was a happy accident. It was probably my favorite stain. Looks a little dark. Once they dry, they're always a lot lighter. Always. Yeah. I think at the end of the video I realized some of the designs that I did, I wish I did do double or darker. I guess like double the amount or just making a darker wash, but I still really, really love the way they turned out. Yeah, this one in particular was very yellow, so just kind of here to show you a couple different colors you can go with or techniques. I always just kind of either use coffee, tea, or water with paint. You can experiment as you please. I always do. It's a lot of fun. Alright, this is the Minecraft tutorial. I did originally film the entire process of me making those boards, but I lost all the footage. I did use the washi tape from Dollar Tree. You can use any washi tape, and that's even if you do decide to do this Minecraft segment. So for these planks, 5 pieces fit perfectly on here, and you're going to take them vertically, evenly spaced out. So, like, directly next to each other, if that makes sense. And then you're going to remove every other piece, and in my case, when I started, I removed 3 pieces, so it left me with these 2 perfectly spaced pieces. And then you're going to do this again the other direction. And then once again, you're going to remove every other piece. So then you're left with kind of like a weave or a grid. And what you're going to do is you're going to paint those pieces. Alright, so you're going to paint the top pieces green, and you're going to paint the bottom pieces brown. You're going to use a couple different variations of green and brown, and I did include one gray. Let the paint dry, and then you're going to peel the washi tape back off. Then we're going to tape again, and this time we're going to do the same thing we did in the beginning. We're going to do this grid, but we're going to cover all the pieces we already painted. So it should look something like this. And then we're going to go and we're going to do green at the top again and brown at the bottom. And remember, Minecraft is a little crazy, so it doesn't have to be super uniform. It can be a little scattered. It helps with the design. Letting the paint dry, peeling it off, doing a third layer. You're going to do this a total of 4 times. Okay, here we go. Alright, so let the paint dry. Then peel off your washi tape. Again, you're going to cover everything you just did. This is our last time using the tape. And once again, green at the top and brown at the bottom. 2 little specks of gray, and that's what it should look like when you peel off your tape. And these are mine. And it was actually pretty easy. I'm so sorry that I lost the footage. But moving on, the piece that I'm working on right here, it was a little bit of an experiment. That one was super easy. I was just messing with the washi tape, and I made a pattern and went with it. You can do so much with washi tape. And again, I'm on to a new thing, and this one I had the idea to make a couple lines. I used one of the letters that I had made previously. I just used that to show me where I should start and stop the line. So you'll see what I do. I do kind of like a little bit of a primary school paper type pattern, and that center line I do like a dotted line on it. It works out really well though, so and it's really easy. I use the smaller washi tape for that. And this one here, this was by far the easiest board I made. And this was, I just took the same exact small washi tape that I did for the first, or for those lined boards. And I did kind of a border. And so now what I'm doing is I'm taking Mod Podge, and I'm going to use that to keep the paint from spreading under the tape. So you're going to dot where you need to apply it. You're going to take a paintbrush, make sure it's not wet, and then you're just going to blend that Mod Podge away from the tape. So once that dries, you'll have a really easy time painting, and you don't have to worry about any bleeding. So now I'm going to mix my palette, and for these last couple, except for the last one, for 3 of these, I'm going to do kind of a pastel palette. And so I take blue, red, yellow, and I even use some of the green from the Minecraft paints, and I mix them all with a glob of white. So yeah, start with the blue, just kind of go wherever. This doesn't really take too much direction. I feel like you could probably just watch this and easily figure out what's going on here. This is, honestly, it's a lot of fun. It doesn't take too much thought. It's very easy. The only thing I would say, and I always say it with these kinds of paints, is make sure you do things in layers. So let it dry or get tacky and then go in with a second coat, because sometimes the pigment isn't super strong. So I'm doing a little bit of a dotted line here. Like I said, the washi tape makes it super easy. It looks so cute. I'm going to do this again too. I'm going to do a galaxy pattern next. And so with that palette, well, you'll see when I get to it, but I'll be doing like dark blue, dark purple, black, and some specks of white. But yeah, so I'm going to pull this tape off, and I'm just in awe of it. It's so pretty. This was the easiest one by far to make. And I do wish I made the stain a little bit darker, but I still love it nonetheless. Like, it's super cute, very easy to do. This one here, I called it my little experiment because I really didn't know what I was doing. I just kind of started putting tape down and thought, let me see what I can do without being too deliberate. And so I really liked this. I thought it looked really cute, and the only thing that I thought I could add to it to improve upon it was kind of edging that design, that cutout I did with the tape. I went along with the sides, and I used some white paint, and it turned out beautifully. I really liked it. I will definitely do that again, honestly. I'll probably experiment some more with some patterns with that, different color schemes and such. Alright, so now I'm going to do the Galaxy board, the last one. I have a Target paint there, and they're a little hit or miss. For me, that one in particular ended up being completely transparent, so I don't know if it was old or if I didn't shake it enough. I typically don't really have to do that with Apple Barrel, though, so I wasn't able to use that purple as beautiful as it was. So I think I do eventually mix a purple, but here I am going in with some blues. And I'm sorry, I am painting it slightly out of frame. I'm still getting used to doing all this and doing it on film, so I haven't been super great with it, but I'm getting there. So as you can see, I did the dotted lines. I did this one in white. I thought it would show up a little bit better, and I'm going to go ahead and do some specks. I do some white specks. I go and I do some yellow specks too, and I even did a little sparkle, and I love the way the sparkle turned out. And eventually I go and I do a couple red specks too. I think peeling off the washi tape is my favorite part. It just looks so crisp and clean and very cool looking. I think peeling off the washi tape is my favorite part. It just looks so crisp and clean and Mod Podge is especially important in this craft that we're doing because we're going to be putting or mounting crayons to it, but we're also going to be using like sticky tabs. Sometimes they could peel paint off. The Mod Podge is always pretty fantastic in protecting and finishing your work, so, and it's inexpensive. Okay, so we are in our last phase of the craft, and this is so much fun. These are crayons that we recycled. And then these here, I mentioned it before, you get them from Amazon. You can get these number and letter molds. They're perfect for crayon making, and a lot of people do just that with them, but I think they're also used for like baking and other things, resin, I'm sure. We use them for crayons. They are perfect, and we've used them many, many times. Like here, you'll see these are older crayons that we made. They're so cute, they're so fun, they're so colorful, and they reduce waste. So we use them a lot for gifting. We use them for a lot of things, and my son is really excited to make these every time. I do want to mention that Crayola has a lot of special effects crayons. These here that I'm showing, these are the Pearl. They are really cool to add to a crayon that you're making. I have tried making a crayon specifically only in the Pearl effect to see what it would look like, and it gets a little wonky looking, a little too shimmery. So just use one at a time, I think. You could use pastel, glitter, and metallic, neon, construction paper. I got a lot for these crafts. I don't use it in this video, but I do want to mention that that's an option because you can get so creative with that. You can make like a really pretty pastel color crayon, like a light pink or purple, and then add a pearl crayon to it. It looks so pretty. I have done that before. I don't have it to show you, but I'm telling you, the possibilities are endless, and I love crafts like that are extremely customizable, because what we're just making today for my son's friends, just for fun. We have no other reason, just for fun. But we also use them for other things, like you could use them for Mother's Day, Father's Day. You could use them for an aunt or an uncle for a gift. You could use these. We did use these for my son's teacher for Teacher Appreciation Week, and it was a really cute gift. It turned out really nicely. In that instance, because, you know, she had such a long name, we used one of the Dollar Tree shelves. The wood plank was a lot larger, and we put a really cute little pencil design on it, and it worked out well. I also do want to note that these are pretty much foolproof. Like, there's no wrong way to make them. However, you do want to make sure that you're putting enough crayons in them. So with my son, sometimes I have to double back and add more crayons to the molds that he did, which is fine. I just make sure that I go with the color pattern he selected, just to make sure that when they melt, they're not super thin, because it takes a lot to fill those molds. Yeah, this is honestly just such a great bonding time. My son, he doesn't always tell me about things. Like, he's a classic. When he gets home from school, we say, "How was school?" And he's like, "Meh, I don't remember." But when we get to sitting and doing stuff like this, he will tell you anything, and I love it. He'll just pour his heart out, and it's just such a great experience. So, again, I started to film putting these in the oven, and I must have lost it. So what I did was I put them in the oven for about maybe a half hour to an hour. And I let these cool overnight, and in the morning I went outside and I watered my garden, and I came back in, and he had this whole thing basically unmolded. He's so good at this. And they turned out so cute. I mean, there's just, like I said, there's no wrong way to make these. It's such a good time. So, while he's still unmolding his, I mean, look at that. Look at all that. He's really good at this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to unmold the 1, 2, 3. And I do want to point out that some of the numbers and some of the letters are a little bit harder than others. So, you know, for example, in the numbers, the number 2 I struggle with, but even more so the number 6, the number 9, of course, the number 8, because they have a lot more to the mold that kind of keeps them there when you try to pull them out. So, yeah, and with the letters too, the letter G is one that we snap a lot. So when that happens, or when you find yourself really trying to get a letter out and it just feels like a little bit of a fight, what I do is I get a teeny bit of olive oil, and you can either use your fingers, or if it's really hard, like to get out, I'll use a Q-tip with olive oil on it and kind of wedge it in there. But in this instance, I just put a tiny bit of olive oil on the sides when pulling it out, and it popped out a lot easier than it would have without it. So, now when you're basically done, just to finalize it, there's a couple things you could do, and I'm going to show you them now. So one would be glue dots. These are the Dollar Tree versions. They work really well. They are the best option, in my opinion. You can use hot glue or foam or something of the sort, but when you work that hard on such a nice little back piece, I like the glue dots because they come off really easily. But if you don't want them to come off, if you want to keep the letters on there as a decoration, they won't budge. So either way, you're going to be really well off with the glue dots, and that's what I recommend. And so that's what it looks like all secured. And it just stays. It's great. It's very secure. And so another thing I want to show you is that sometimes with these letters, when you make them, the back will be a little textured. So it could be a little rounded, or sometimes it could be a little lumpy if you use a brand that you're not too familiar with. Like there was a crayon that we used that didn't melt as good as Crayola or the off brands or most crayons. So sometimes they need a little bit of sanding. Well, they don't need it. Like I don't typically do this, but you might want to, you know, depending on your preferences when you make stuff like this. So a rough paper or sanding paper, something of the sort, will help kind of smooth the back of the letters. And that's if you see that it needs that, or if you feel that it needs that. I don't really take it too seriously because if it doesn't get used, it's still going to look really cute, and if it does get used, it's going to get filed down, so. And now, so this part of the video, it's not necessary. It's something that I really wanted to do because I thought it would look cute when gifting these, is that I wanted to wrap these in shrink wrap film. And as you can see, and as you will see, is I'm not very good at using this. So any pointers will be appreciated. But what I did was I typically use my blow dryer, but today I thought, let me use my flat iron, let me see what that can do. And so I grabbed some parchment paper, and each one of these I kind of folded the shrink wrap a little bit differently to see how it would work. On this one in particular, I used way too much shrink wrap, so the back was a little bit more textured. But yeah, so there's different ways you can do it, and you can try it. Most likely they'll be better than my efforts, but the way that I found that it works best is, you're not going to see it here, you're going to see it probably on the second name that I do, is I use one piece of film and I fold it back, and I fold all the pieces onto itself, and then I hit it with the heat. You know, less is more, I guess, but yeah, so like I said, any pointers will be great. So I'm down to the last 4, but this is what they're looking like, and I really like them. I learned a lot. I learned what not to do and what I'm going to do next time. But I really, really enjoyed this, and I think they turned out great, and I think that these are really great, inexpensive gifts to give for any occasion. And I do want to mention, too, Dollar Tree tends to have a lot of seasonal silicone molds. Valentine's Day, I've seen the heart ones. Right now, for summer, they have, like, seashells and flamingos and pineapples. So those are cool, like, summer gifts. Christmas time, I know they have some cool ones. So you could do some seasonal ideas, too, with this. So anyway, don't let me ramble. I just want to say thank you for watching my video, and I really hope you join me in the next one.